You've just heard the solo for the song More Than a Feeling by the band Boston. And if you're not sure the song More Than a Feeling, it's the song that starts off with this. But if you want to learn that, that's another video. We're going to get on with the solo. So we're going to now switch from the clear sound to an overdrive sound to get the... And we're going to break down and see what's actually happening on the tab sheet. So I really need you to have your PDF printed out in front of you. It's always nice to have a print up because you can always make notes on it if you've got a pen ready, or highlight something if you need to. Otherwise, working from the screen or a cell phone or whatever you're using is also going to work quite well. Now the first bar is really straightforward. You're simply going to play on the third string, 6, 7, 9. Nice and easy. And it leads into the 7 of the next bar on the second string. So you're going to have... I'm also not too fussy what fingers you use. You can go, or you can jump up. Whichever you're comfortable with. There is a little bit of a grey area for what you deem feels comfortable. There's the 7 from the beginning of the second bar. Now the next phrase is going to go... And that starts on the second 7 of the second bar, and we play that entire phrase up until and including the 8 of the third bar where it says bend. So one more time, slow motion. And you can see I'm bending the string quite a bit there. Now on the hammer-on and pull-off, because you can hear there's a very fast passage. We're going to need to get hammer-ons and pull-offs working efficiently there. So I'm going to bring the picking hand more into the view here. And we're going to start again from that 7, 8. Pick the second string. There's the 8 picking the second string. And now comes the quick succession. And those 4 notes start with one note being picked, the fret 7. Then you hammer on and you pull off. And then you go across to the 9 on the third string. So one more time, and then watch how much I'm working with this sound. Pick, 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 hammer on, pull off, pick, pick. That's the 7. And now we're on to the 8 with the bend. And you'll notice that when I do the bend, I'm bending with fingers 1 and 2. So my middle finger adds support for the bend to keep the pitch. And once I've got the note up there, a bit of vibrato always comes in handy. That's your first phrase. Now it's quite a long solo, this one. Not too long, but longer than some, I guess. Your first and second bar, including the first note from the third, should sound like this. Okay, one more time through. 2, 3, 4. And now we come to the second phrase, which is going to sound like this. Okay, let's play it up until the second double 7, which is the third note of the fourth bar. So one more time slowly. We're going to study this part, starting on the 7, crossing over to the 8 on the second, back to the 7, and then we move the hand down to fret 5 to get that quick hammer on and pull off. That's your target speed. And it's the same hammer on and pull off, just to refresh on that. So you're only going to pick the first 5. There's the 5, finger 1. You can hear there's 3 notes and I only picked 1. And that's now the last 7 onto the first 5 of the fourth bar. And finish in the double 7s. That's the next phrase. Now, no special bends over here. That just needs to go through nice and smooth. Back to the position. And if you want to as well, a hammer on from the 5 to the second in the fourth bar also sounds nice. So instead of starting that fourth bar, you can go hammer on and then pick. Okay, should we take the first from the beginning up until and including that now slow motion? 2, 3, 4. got that. And then almost immediate after that, you follow through with another quick phrase, which we're going to look at now. So we're picking up at the 7, halfway through the 4th bar, on the 3rd string. It's going to go from the 7 to the 8, and then we're going to do a very quick, again that same hammer on and pull off technique, 7, 8, 7, onto 9 on the 3rd, back to the 7, and then on the 9, you bend it up. Okay, so the phrase there. And then once you've bent it, it sounds quite cool with the second pick as well. Okay, we so far so good. Now I'm not going to play it from the beginning every time round, otherwise it's going to get sort of too long with the video. I'd encourage you to pause it yourself, play it from the beginning, put it all together and work it step for step. Okay, now we're going to go to the next phrase. Now the next phrase is simply going to be following through from the first bend of the second line, that 9 bend, and it's going to go. So you're actually going to bend it up and release it. Now releasing it's sort of a bit deceptive because you're not releasing it, you're unbending it, which is not really, I guess, an English terminology, but the best way to describe it, you bend it up and return it to normal pitch, which they call a release. And from that, which would be the 7/6 added on. So that phrase now that we've just done with the last 2 notes added on, okay, and at speed it sounds like that. Sometimes at the slower speeds it's sort of difficult to feel the rhythm because you're used to it at a certain sort of level of speed, so it feels a bit empty without the drums and that. But try and also play this along with the backtrack. So I did include with your backtrack that you watch in the beginning, that's what I played through, so you're going to actually hear something like this. I will send it to you as a separate individual audio so you can actually practice this along with the piece, so you can actually have what I used for the beginning. So it's going to take you just as a quick refresher. And you can hear that's what we did at the beginning. Now, enough of that. You've got the audio track, so try and use it in conjunction with it. In fact, don't listen to this video the whole way through because there's a lot of different techniques over here, a lot of different notes to memorize. Learn it piece by piece. Now we're up until just after the first A in the second line, we're going to have, and that's sort of introducing your repetition. There's a similar sort of theme going to happen over here now. If you compare the D and G of the top line to the D and G of the second line, you'll notice you have a similar, but instead of going to an 8, this time it goes to a 10. So the first time round it went, that's the first line, and the second line now, very similar, but the last note changed. You can see it goes to fret 10. One more time slowly. Okay, now I could go down to the 5, but it's actually nicer to cross over. So we're not going to do the 5 there. That was just a habit kicking in, bad habits. Okay, so that phrase one more time. There's the 10 bend, and then after that you got A now after the B minor in the second line, third bar. It's going to go 10, 8, and then the same hammer on and pull off. And you'll notice by now there's a lot of this. That technique of a quick hammer on and pull off is almost like a signature for this song. So you're going to be doing a lot of those hammer-ons and pull-offs over there. It's what makes the song work. So one more time from the 10. And be generous with the vibrato as well. Don't do the classical technique. It's not very pronounced. Do a bit more this way across the fretboard. So it gives you much more control of the dynamic of the vibrato. And now we're on to the last B minor, which is going to be, and you notice it's also very similar to how the first line went. So listen for the similarities. Be careful not to get caught into repeating the first one, because the first one will sound good if you repeat it, but the next one will sound better if you're doing where we're meant to be in the bar. So one more time at the end of the fourth bar, going into the 5 on the last bar above the E minor. So we're leading from the B minor onto the E minor. And then to finish off the phrase, you're going to go to the 3rd string, and you can do a nice slide here from the 7. Go jump up to the 11. There's your slide. There's your hammer on a pull off. And a lot of slides over there in slow motion. One more time. 7, 11, hammer on and a pull off. Back to the 7, 6, 7. And then your last phrase is simply going to be a quick at the end of it there. And that's going to be a 10, 12, 10 onto the 12 on the 3rd string. And then you jump to the 13 on the 1st string and you give it a good bend. And that's your solo. So I hope you enjoyed it. Have an awesome week. If you've got any questions regarding the solo, techniques, different ways to play it, like I mentioned earlier, we could have gone it's the same note. You can see it again just one more time. Sorry, I forgot to change the camera's view there. I could do this. It's actually the same as this. So if you find yourself changing like it, just be aware of it. And if you prefer the slide and changing the phrasing, even though the notes are the same, you may do that. As long as you make sure that you've made a note of that so you don't confuse yourself later. Otherwise, awesome solo to play through. Enjoy it, and maybe consider giving me a WhatsApp if you want to learn the introduction, because like I said, the introduction is really cool. I'll just give you a quick primer one more time. It's all based on a D chord. You can do fingerstyle or pick for this. What's the pinky here? A very, very nice picking pattern as well. But either way, have a good day, listen to Boston, they're a great band, and have an excellent week.